All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to talk a little bit about the Wuthering Waves subreddit. And if you're familiar with what's been going on in this subreddit over the past couple of days, it is safe to say that it is an absolute fucking disaster, filled with so much doom posting, so much complaining about things that aren't really worth complaining about, and an over-exaggeration of pretty much every single issue you could find when it comes to a patch. And I'm glad that there's one person in particular, the Berry Man, that's decided to go ahead and just make the thoughts of what I'm pretty sure is actually the majority of the player base known. This sub is becoming unbearable. Yes, it is. I was going to type out a long post about how I get that some of the things Kuro has been doing lately aren't ideal, that they could be better, but ultimately this is still a good game and we should stop being overly critical. But the shit I'm seeing is just ridiculous. I genuinely don't know if I'm playing the same game as these posters. And let me show you a bit of an example of what these posters are saying. The anniversary patch felt underwhelming. Predatory anniversary event. To the people who have defended Kuro these last few days, night market is trash. The screen pops up when you try to claim insider rewards. Another review of the WuWa anniversary events and how underwhelming it is. So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of conversation being had over here. I do think that the doom posting has fortunately gone down over the past couple of days. Now I'm just seeing booty shots. Now I'm just seeing like booty shots and like tier lists and stuff like that and a lot of cubes. So I think it's gotten a lot better for sure. And this is the thing, right? We can look over here and we can see that when it comes to the Wuthering Waves subreddit, there's 1.1k online right now, right? This is at the current present time of recording. Zenless Zone 0, 468. ZZZ Official, 616. Genshin Impact, 1.1. And Honkai Star Rail, 496, right? WuWa's still at the top when it comes to this. And I do believe, in at least my honest opinion, right? This is where a lot of the doom posting is coming from. Because I've actually got footage from yesterday showing off some of these numbers. Wuthering Waves was at 1.3 yesterday. Not even 24 hours ago. More like 18 hours ago. It was at 1.3. We just look over here. Genshin Impact was at 700. HSR was at 600. And then ZZZ was at 600. And 363 for the official one. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I wonder why there are so many people frequenting the WuWa subreddit. And there are more complaints, more exaggeration of minor issues than we've ever seen in the history of the game. Subway Surfers, AstroTurfers is what I do believe is the name of the game. Because holy shit. A lot of the complaints that we've been seeing just seem so ridiculous, it's almost unreal. Let's dive back into this post. We've gotten some of the context. We've shown some of the numbers. Obviously, we don't have any exact proof, but when you know how easy it is to, you know, upvote posts on Reddit, bring them to the top, and make it easier for those posts to be upvoted more in the future, yeah, that's why astroturfing is such a big concern on the platform. Because 2,000 very, very dedicated people can make and push something to the top that's going to get viewed by potentially millions. So with that, let's go ahead and keep going. I genuinely don't know if I'm playing the same game as these posts, man. Zani's dependent on Phoebe, 1 billion DPS loss, and so I decided to test out Shorekeeper, S-Rover, and Zani in the first hazard zone with the dragon, and it was over in 2 rotations. To be fair, this rotation, it gives you a 100% Spectral Frazzle damage amp, so I think it's a little bit unfair to make this comparison. But I've already made a couple of videos. We already talked about a couple of the dynamics when it comes to Spectral Rover and Zani, and it was incredibly over-exaggerated, the difference in performance between the two teams. I think that there was a very popular post that had around, I believe it was around 4,000 upvotes. I'll see if I can pull it up. That we made a video kind of not necessarily debunking, but just really explaining further, right? This post over, or this video over here, where I basically call it Zani doom posting is out of control. And in this video, right, we go over Selkie's post, kind of talking about like how like Kuro's like, this is like a masterclass in greed. Zani's like, you know, Zani has like a quarter of her kit without like Spectral Rover and all of that. And basically, we just get into the fact that A, Phoebe does no damage, and Rover actually does deal damage. And so, like, drawing those right, this is Rover's damage. Ro's doing 105k in one attack, right? And Phoebe's doing 29k on her liberation. It's literally like a damage difference of, like, 300% personal damage. So, clearly, that entire issue with Phoebe's performance versus Spectral Rover's performance was incredibly over-exaggerated. There has been a ton of posts by a lot of CCs, a ton of videos, showing that, yeah, she's pretty okay. She's like pretty fine. There's no need to like really be freaking out this much and saying that like, you know, this is the most absurd thing that's ever happened to the game. But there are still people to this day, right? That are saying Zani is unplayable without Phoebe. Unfortunate, right? So that whole thing is debunked. She works just fine with Spectral Rover. Next up, we got the anniversary patch is underwhelming. Bro has a link to it. I get that this poster isn't hating on everything, but the wording is clearly negative and I need to vent. If you finish the entirety of the anniversary patch within 24 hours, you didn't find it underwhelming, full stop. Wait, is that what they did? I'm gonna have to take a look at this. I don't know why, but I was expecting something more grandeur. This doesn't feel like a celebration of thank you for being with us throughout the entire year. Here's to more. I don't think he's necessarily wording it like he finished the entire thing, but maybe this is like the ending screen of the event. I haven't actually played it yet. So, yeah, I guess, I mean, that's a fair point to raise. That's a fair point to raise. If you manage to finish the entire patch and the entire event within the time frame, then yeah, I imagine you probably at least enjoyed it a little bit. Otherwise, you probably would have stopped playing it. You can't even finish the cube combat event, I don't think. Oh, okay, so then we're making conclusions about the entirety of the patch with time-gated content. And so we haven't experienced the whole thing yet. Blood about to defend shit he didn't say. Oh, so this is the thing, right? I understand that you're here. You're here to sow as much discord as possible. But I will use you to reinforce one of my points. Blood over here is critiquing something he didn't play. Did we talk about that? Blood here is critiquing something he didn't play. You just told me it's time-gated. So he didn't play it yet. Because it's time-gated. As you can see, Hoyoverse is not sending their best. Hoyoverse is actually not sending their best. Unfortunately, you simply say one thing to them, and they will begin short-circuiting, and they'll lose the ability to start reasoning. Yeah, it's okay. You're literally here, Gohan, to be entertainment. It's fine. So yeah, clearly, we're making these whole sort of like negative posts about an event that we haven't played. People are entirely free to do that, but I think that the whole viewpoint of saying, yeah, this is a very underwhelming event when you're literally on day 1 of the patch and the anniversary is supposed to last, I don't know, 42, and you're physically not capable of unlocking and experiencing all the content in the patch, a lot of people could say that's premature. Especially knowing how much there is still left to go, like, you know, events like the Elusive Realm. Next up, we got the Predatory Event Shop. This one is an incredible display of self-victimization. I've got the link for it right here. And there's actually 2 posts regarding this. This is a lot of people that are actively complaining about the fact that Kuro's just giving us a rebate, right? That Kuro is giving us a rebate on our pulls. That they're allowing you to, when you spend on any of the banners, across the entire anniversary, ladies and gentlemen. You got Zani's banner over here. You got Zani's weapon. You, of course, got the 5 reruns that are coming in this phase, and then the 5 reruns that are coming the next phase. And then, on top of all that, you have the release of Kachona as well, who's going to count for those. Yeah, right? Kuro's basically giving us a rebate on those pulls. And this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. People are saying this is the most predatory thing ever. Like, Kuro's never done something like this. They're doing, like, this is worse than HSR spending event because they're forcing you to pull. Hey, guys. Are we forgetting about something that happens every single patch? Are we forgetting about this? Should we remove the Afterglow Coral Shop and then the Oscillated Coral Shop with the... Because those are on a monthly reset, right? Aren't the oscillated corals, you know, the ones where you go into the store, right? I've already bought them all, right? Should we remove these from the shop as well? Don't I have to pull these? Don't I have to pull to get these? Oh, but we've had 11 months of these. Or sorry, not 11 months. We've had about 7, 8, 9 patches. We've had 7, 8, 9 patches of these. But suddenly now it's bad? Oh, wow. Awful. Yeah, I'm clutching my pearls right now. This is the most predatory shit ever. Kuro Games, you need to remove this as well. I shouldn't feel pressured to pull on any banner ever. Because then I won't have enough to buy out this in the shop. I'm going to be forced to pull on a banner. And you know what else? Every other game with resetting shops like this should also remove them. So Genshin, HSR, ZZZ, every single game where you have after pull currency, where you get a currency for pulling. I think Black Beacon has it too. Yeah, they got to remove all of it. This is insane. You're right. And then these Eidolons, all these free Eidolons that you can pull with the currency. Damn, now I'm gonna feel pressure to pull and build up the Afterglow Coral. I'm gonna feel pressure to pull and build up the Afterglow Coral. Otherwise, I won't be able to get these sequence nodes before they leave. No, this is, nah, that's not, yeah, no, this is predatory. You need to remove these from the shop. They need to remove these from the shop. Unbelievable. Anything that resets on a time basis needs to be gone, because I don't want to feel pressured by time to do something like pull. That's what these people are saying, essentially, right? That is what these people are saying. You've even got this guy over here saying that the night market is trash.
As someone that's saving my pulls for Cartithia, this feels like a slap in my face. I legit miss out on 8 pulls during an anniversary patch because I won't pull on the banners? Like what? I did the math, and by doing the events, you can't get 1,200 unless you do a few pulls. And that's not even to mention the other 5. So because I refuse to pull on a patch, because none of the characters interest me.
Every limited character in the game, by the way. Every limited character in the game that's ever released, other than the ones that just reran. Yeah, this guy is saying every single character does not interest me at all.
I'm down to basically a 10 pull. Absolute bullshit on top of the shit anniversary rewards. I hope y'all enjoy your spending event. I'm how about Kachona?
Are you gonna use another sub DPS for Cartithia?
I'm pulling Cartithia for waifu reasons, not meta. So no, I will only pull for her.
It's like, you have to factor in the percentage of the player base that this is actually gonna reasonably impact is gonna be a very small one, because you have to be a special type of stupid. You have to be a special type of stupid to actually be negatively impacted by this event. You'd have to be in a situation, right, where, again, you don't need any of these characters, you're not willing to pull a single sequence node, and you're also not willing to build up any pity at all. This night market event is literally a rebate, right? It is a rebate, and if you pull Zani, you're good, right? You pull any weapon, you're good. You'll get all the rewards. And I think another thing people haven't recognized is that the event actually lasts 53 days. Night market tokens can no longer be obtained after 42, but the shop is going to be open for 53 days. And so the only situation where somebody's going to be in like trouble is if they have a guarantee on the character banner that's active right now, and they also don't want to pull any of the 12 characters that are going to be running this patch. And when you're in a situation where the patch is supposed to give around 130 plus pulls, you're going to be somebody that wants to skip all 12 characters and then like pull multiple copies of Kachona and then like be on a pity that's guaranteed. Be on a high pity and also have it be guaranteed. Like, I'm going to be honest here. That is such a small subset of the populace. And you also have to be somebody that wants to pull multiple copies of Cartithia and then also doesn't want to pull. You also don't want to pull her either, while also going for multiple copies of Cartithia, knowing that currently Kachona is going to be a premier arrow erosion buffer and a premier arrow erosion enabler with buffs and application built into her kit. And on top of that, you already know from context clues in-game, because this is what Fleur-de-Lis's goddamn Echo looks like. I wonder what that question mark is. And I wonder why Gusts of Welkin is an arrow erosion set that Fleur-de-Lis boss form drops. And so Kuro has basically confirmed to you that Cartithia is an arrow erosion character, and one of her better partners is going to be Kachona. It's basically confirmed. You don't even need to look at a single kit leak to know that. You simply need to have more than 2 brain cells to rub together. Okay, and what if you don't like Kachona? Then don't pull her. But this is the thing. You have to not like Kachona, you have to really like Cartithia, and you also have to not like any character that's running across the entire patch. You also have to not like every single character that's running across the entire patch. If you check the rules of the event, it says all convenes made after the version 2.3 update will count towards task progress. All convenes made after the version 2.3 update will count towards task progress. Yeah, I think that only means this over here. Yeah, I think that there's an end, right? There's an end to it. And so this is the thing, right? I think at this point, the number of people, the number of players that are reasonably going to be impacted is so low, it's ridiculous. You'd have to be somebody that wants to skip every single banner. You'd also have to be somebody that's not willing to build any pity at all. You'd also have to be somebody, right, that doesn't want to pull anything across an entire 42-day patch, and let's be real here, the number of people that are going to fall into that in the population is absurdly low, and this is all for 8 pulls. Do you know how many people are always talking about,
oh, just skip the TOA. You don't have to build your characters. Just skip the Tower of Adversity. The Tower of Adversity only gives you like 5 pulls. WuWa only gives you 5 pulls. So you don't have to feel pressured into completing that content.
yeah, okay then, motherfucker. This is 8 pulls. You don't need to feel pressure to do this. Yeah, we can just spin that bullshit around right back at you. Yeah, this is 8 pulls. You don't need to feel pressure to do anything. Oh, we didn't think about it that way, did we? And this is the thing, right? It's 8 pulls. You want to know how much you get from the blue coral shop after a reset? We're over here throwing shit at the wall about 8 pulls. Yeah, you get 7. You get 7 just from the patch reset. And so, yeah, if you skip all 12 banners, you might not be able to get it. So now that we have explained that Gilded Night Market event, I think it's pretty clear that this is one incredible display of self-victimization. Kuro includes pulls in the event shop to get those pseudo refunds, with a total of 8 gated behind pulling. And then 3 of those 8 are gated behind 20 pulls anywhere. And so if you don't even make at least 20 pulls, who knows, right? Maybe you're the guy that's on a guarantee on your weapon banner, and you're on a guarantee on your character banner, and you just don't want to do anything. And then the last 5 is just 5 pulls. And that might require you to go to 40 pulls total on the banners. And again, that's less than what you get from one of the version resets in the shop. Are we really pretending that this is some ploy by Kuro to get you to pull more and not just a nice bonus for people who aren't saving on the anniversary with 12 banners available to spend on? Who knows? Maybe you get an early by just building pity on like 30 pulls. Oh no, I lost 50-50 at 30 pulls. This is the worst thing ever. Oh no, I got a limited unit at 20. Oh, this is terrible. People are just clutching their pearls right now, acting like it would be the worst thing ever to build like 40 pity on a limited banner, and then act like getting an early 5-star would be like the worst thing ever because they were like saving or something like that. Acting like this is a predatory inclusion that's meant to draw pulls out of you is actually insane, when nobody is going to pull up the event shop, see 2,200 currency required, and think, oh, I was gonna save these next 80 pulls for Cartithia, but those 5 pulls are calling my name. Get yourselves checked out. Yeah. No, they're entirely right. And this is the thing. You go S0R1 on any unit, and you will likely 1,000,000% fill out everything you need to and be able to pull everything in the event. And if you don't, fuck it. Pull 20 times on the weapon banner, 20 times on the resonator banner, and you should have pretty much all of the rewards. You might not be able to get the 5 pulls, but it's not really that deep, right? Are you going to spend 20 pulls to get 5? Are you going to spend 40 pulls to get 5? Are you going to spend 80 pulls to get 5 of them? Or if you're going to save, you just save. But do keep in mind, you have to spend them in the first place to get them. And there's already plenty of stuff in the game, plenty of mechanics where you have to spend something to get something. And so if you're going to complain about the Gilded Night Market event and say that it's the worst thing ever, I don't want to hear you saying that missing out on the TOA and missing out on Whimpering Waste isn't a big deal. If you're the same person that's complaining about the Gilded Night Market pulls, you better be sweating the fuck out of the TOA, sweating the fuck out of WuWa, and doing all the exploration on the map. If you're making that big of a deal out of 5 pulls, when we already have an existing rebate system in the game that nobody has ever complained about, ever. I have never seen anybody complain about the Coral Shop. I have never seen anybody complain about the Afterglow Shop. They've only been glazing the shit out of this. And guess what? Gilded Night Market? Kinda just the same thing. And you want to know the best part about this? All the dumbasses in that thread saying that this is worse than HSR spending event. Yeah, I don't see any Lunite on here. I don't see the need to buy Lunite to clear any of these. This is actually 1,000,000% achievable for a free-to-play player. There were literally people saying that this is worse than HSR's.
Because, oh, Kuro's forcing you to pull in the patch. At least with HSR, you can spend $250 and then not spend it on the patch.
There are literally people saying that. Maybe we can find one dude who's being exceptionally stupid. Ooh, you get 5 pulls back for spending 80. Predatory spending event. They gave them 5 pulls back after they spent 80. Even Hoyo doesn't pull stuff like this. The HSR anniversary spending event didn't make you pull. Just spend on gems. People who don't want to pull this patch with 12 banners on it and 12 weapons got next level screwed. Yeah, 1% of the fucking player base. I need to see if this guy actually posts in the WuWa's subreddit. Alright, I've seen everything I need to see. Remember when I said, ladies and gentlemen, that the WuWa's subreddit has been getting a lot of activity lately? Oh yeah. And why the Genshin, HSR, and ZZZ subreddits weren't getting a lot? Oh yeah. And remember when I said it's really easy to upvote and manipulate what's showing up on the Reddit front page? Remember when I said that? Oh yeah. And if this one dude is deciding to comment, and that's how we're finding him out, how many people do you think are simply just not commenting? Because there are at least 24 brigaders that upvoted this post alongside it. Imagine how many are just going ahead and spreading these dog shit narratives. Yeah, I completely lost trust in Kuro at this point. They are no better than Hoyoverse. How dare they give people back 5 pulls after they spend 80? So, do keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. The Wuthering Waves subreddit, I do think it's going down because we've seen the number of users going down. It's been getting actively brigaded across the patch. It's been getting actively brigaded across the patch. A lot of people making a huge deal out of shit that doesn't particularly matter that much, clutching their pearls over 5 pulls, going ahead, saying stuff like night market is trash, and then proceeding to say shit like I'm pulling for waifu reasons, and so I'm not gonna even think about pulling a meta partner for an upcoming unit. And so yeah, the sub is becoming unbearable. Doom posters are fucking annoying and need to get in touch with reality. And I think that is really, really, really true. But I think one thing that this post doesn't address is the insane amount of astroturfing that is occurring. Because why are there so many individuals talking about the game when the patch is live? How are there this many people on Reddit looking at threads talking about the game when the patch and all of its content is live? Because they don't actually. They're from here, from here, from here, and from here. So with that, let me know what you all think. Peace.